Greetings, beloveds. This is Amy Caryn Johnson, the Earth Channel. This week I'd like to start with a poem inspired by Gaia's lessons regarding the solar plexus for me, and then I'll get into the solar plexus center and chakra as it relates to human design. I have thought if only I could find a relationship, I would feel secure, I would feel okay. But then I had a relationship and I did not, so I searched and searched for another way. I have thought if only I could be outdoors more, I would feel the love, I would feel the light. But then I found disappointment and shame, so I searched for something else that felt right. I have thought if only I could love no matter what, others would be kinder, friendlier, more open. And I saw some progress, but it wasn't always easy. So I decided to keep going and see what happens. I started to love my anger, love my frustration, love my aloneness, love winter, love my home. Love my sadness, love my curiosity, even temptation. And when I loved my failures, I was in peace enthroned. So, if you have seen some of the previous videos from previous weeks, it's the 6th, sorry, and I have spoken about the solar plexus chakra in previous weeks, last week and 3 weeks ago actually, and I have explained my theory about how I believe that 3 centers within the human design, the 9 centers of human design, are associated with the solar plexus chakra. This week, we're going to talk about the one that in human design they call the solar plexus, also sometimes called the emotional center, and it represents more the feminine side in my interpretation, and most people actually interpret that to be the feminine side, as opposed to the spleen, which we talked about last week, and the ego, which that's a departure on my part from typical human design theory, which me associating it with the solar plexus and power. So if you would like to run your chart and see what it looks like, the solar plexus, when you look at your chart, will be the triangle on the right side of the body graph, but it does represent the left side of the body. And if it is open, it'll be white. If it is defined, it will be brown. And you can search for any human design free chart creator. The one I usually recommend is humandesignamerica.com/chart. If your solar plexus is defined, that means that you will have consistent access to emotions and emotional waves. And if you are new to really getting present with your emotions and noticing them and being aware of them even. Some people are not even aware of their emotions, and that center is defined for you. It can be a bit of a bumpy road, these waves. I know it was for me. I am the only one in my immediate family who has a defined solar plexus center, and so I think subconsciously, I didn't know about human design when I was growing up, but I think that my family sensed that these emotions were being produced by me. And of course, when my emotions were up, it was a great thing, but when they were down, they sort of blamed me for them feeling down. Because if your center is open, you will amplify another person's emotions. And of course, when they're down, amplifying them does not feel very good. So one of the reasons that I love channeling messages from Gaia, especially as her messages relate to human design and the chakras, is because she encourages us to embrace diversity, embrace our differences, recognize the beauty in each of those differences, rather than coming into conflict. And one of the things that people who have an open solar plexus center tend to do is to avoid conflict. So just as you can get quiet, get present, and just sort of watch those feelings, when you have a defined center, you can also watch your responses to those feelings if you have an open center. And human beings are social creatures. So it's about 50-50, the number of us who have a defined center versus those of us who have an open center as far as the solar plexus is concerned. And so even if you're with another person who has an open solar plexus center, you may define it together because one of you has one gate and another one has the other gate defined. And when you come together, you will notice you have certain emotional waves, which can feel both good and maybe not so good sometimes. So emotions are something all of us need to come to terms with, observe, recognize, and appreciate, honestly, because only by getting present with those lower emotions. I know it can feel really awful when you first start doing it instead of just trying to escape them, or distract yourself from them. But the more you can actually just feel them, not only will they dissipate more quickly, but it will allow you to feel those higher emotions even more deeply as well. So it's to everyone's advantage to recognize, to appreciate, and to get present with emotions of all kinds. So now I'm going to share with you a meditation from Gaia. All right, I'll invite you to take a few deep breaths. Feel the energy of the sun or the higher realms, whichever you prefer, coming down through your crown, down through your body as if you were a tree. And send it down through your feet, through your roots into Mother Earth, connecting with her too. Then feel energy come back up through your roots from Mother Earth, through your feet, through your legs, up your body, and pause at your solar plexus chakra. And just notice if you have any fragments of yourself, any pieces of yourself that you've been hiding or that are attached to a certain image, perhaps an image of not being emotional. Sometimes we can be judged for being emotional. Attachments or pieces of ourselves that we have hidden that are emotional. Attachments to the belief that emotions are bad. Or pieces of ourselves that we've hidden that represent anger. Anger is a feeling that is not widely accepted. But there are reasons for it sometimes. And if we push it away or hide it or push it down, typically that's the least healthy thing to do. So just take that part of yourself, those pieces of yourself, those fragments that you've been hiding, or those beliefs that you are just taking too much energy, and just pull those back into your solar plexus center. Breathe deeply and feel that center being purified, clarified. Feel the energy flow freely through there. Letting go of those attachments to things, to beliefs that we no longer need. Accepting ourselves in our anger, even our judgment. We should always endeavor to never hurt other people. And even if we don't vocalize our judgments of other people, they can still be hurtful. So just look at those parts of ourselves that we might really be judging in those other people. Maybe someone expressed some anger and you judged them for that. Reclaim that part of yourself where it's okay to sometimes express anger. Accept responsibility for it. Don't lash out, but it's okay to say, I'm feeling angry. It isn't who you are, but you are allowed to feel those feelings. Let those emotions flow. And once you do, they will dissipate all that much more quickly. And we will be able to feel love more deeply and more expansively than before as well. So now feel the love radiating from that center and feel it expanding out. Love is the one thing that we can always have the energy to share. Once we tune into unconditional love, it's replenished instantly. But it also requires us to love ourselves, all those parts of ourselves, our whole selves. So no matter what you're feeling, love and accept yourself. You will find it much easier to love and accept others, no matter what. It doesn't mean you accept every behavior. You can still set boundaries. You can still choose to be around someone or not, based on how healthy their behavior is. You can always also love them. Another deep breath. And out. Thank you, beloveds. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. If you liked this message, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to be notified when the new weekly message comes out, subscribe and hit the bell button. You can also find me on Facebook at my page, Amy Caryn Johnson Earth Channel, or my group, Earth Tree Sun. And if you'd like these messages emailed to you for free on Wednesdays, you can sign up at amycarynjohnson.com. Thank you.